I see all these tweets from you now, and I'm like,
all these tweets, I'm on once a week.
That's a lot of tweets for Kevin. I'm
Yeah.
so stoked to chat. You've been like grinding some stuff, some thinking. I love deep thinking.
I'm so excited to have Kevin back on the pod.
Yeah.
By the way, petition to have Kevin be the third mic whenever he wants.
I really appreciate that coming from you, man. I respect you guys a lot. You guys are some of my favorite. I hop on Twitter and my desktop once a week, and your stuff always comes up, and I'm like, this is great.
Yeah. Learning.
I'm so glad you're back, because every time we talk, I find out that you've been approaching what we do in a way that I have never thought of before.
Yeah.
And like it's right too. Like it's another correct approach to it. Like I don't leave thinking like, man, this guy's an idiot. I leave being like, oh, I might be an idiot, because he is approaching this in a way that I've never thought to, and it's going well. So super excited to have Kevin back on the pod. What's up, dude?
Well, you know, just grinding it out here in the trenches of Meta and now AppLovin and a little bit of demand gen, and you know, just like everywhere we can, really everywhere we can serve vertical video. I mean, not that I'm the first to be that, but like, you know, it's like at a brand of our scale, like scaling out your vertical video is like it's been the biggest payoff. And then, you know, just how we approach it coming out of like, I think like the first time I talked to you guys, I was like coming out of like the doldrums and like the most down I've ever been, which was like Father's Day 2025, right? Like it was just like a train wreck. And I feel like we spent the last really 12 months like trying to solve for that train wreck, you know?
It took you 12 months, you think?
Well, I mean, like,
that's interesting.
I'm not going to say 12 months to dig out, but like to have a full perspective on where things went a little sideways, but also like the incremental steps that kind of helped us dig out and like, and like develop our own kind of approach to how we think about this stuff. Like a lot of this like digital creative advertising, I don't even want to just stick to Meta anymore. It's like, it's everything now. And like, that's one of the unlocks is just like getting off of only Meta for sure at like meaningful scale. But like, you know, it's like, what do we even look at? You know, so much of that's was the experience of the last 12 months. It's like, what do we even look at? What are we
even doing?
Yeah. Like, why is this? What is a metric? You know, like,
what is a metric is the title of this.
Are you analytics? You know?
Are you analytics? Why analytics?
Yeah.
Kevin, let me ask you, in the last 90 days, I've had more conversations in my entire career with brands that are spending a bigger and bigger chunk of advertising spend off of Meta. And all of those brands are on track for their biggest, most profitable years yet. Do you guys fit that mold? Are you seeing a trend happen where you guys are like going to really unlock something that's not a Facebook ad?
I don't know if I'll go to the biggest and best ever. We had a pretty ripper in 2024, so hard to top that one. But what it is here's what I'll say. Expanding off Meta to some extent has certainly helped us realize we're not insane. And like there are audiences elsewhere. And, you know, for our brand, which for those that don't know, I run Highcamp Flasks. We make super, super high-end stainless steel drinkware for like wine and cocktails and spirits and whatever. I mean, it's still the driver. And it's like what we learn other places comes back to Meta tenfold. That's, I think, what's really cool. But also like the other platforms, like, you know, app in particular, but also demand gen that, you know, again, it's like short form vertical video, and like getting signal on what short form vertical video is good is like the best thing you can possibly do on Meta. You know what I mean? For us, so our stuff is not intuitive, you know?
I also like to say though, you're doing something that I have told the brands to do for ages, which is like, why the hell are you not posting on organic, taking what you learned from organic and putting it in your ad account? And people are like, well, it's hard. Organic is hard. I'm like, so do something, like, don't just not do it. Like Kevin figured out a very valid way for testing what works inside a short form video and then putting it on Meta. Am I crazy? Like now I need to hear your strategy. What did you change?
Yes, not for that reason, but yes, it's on the record. Sarah's crazy.
I spent 9 months being like, am I insane? Yeah.
Am I crazy? Yes. Am I nuts? Okay, tell us your strategy though. Like, how did you figure?
Well, because our product is not intuitive.
Yeah.
Static has always been challenging for us. And maybe that's because I'm a crappy copywriter. I just saw a copy camp that maybe I'll sign up to. I don't know. But like, we've just historically always found video to be the better medium I can't remember where I saw this. Some random thing I heard or saw, and it was like the language of the internet is short form video. And like, so it's probably good to be really freaking good at that. And, that's, for the last 3 years, that's all we've focused on. Now, what short form video has worked has evolved drastically. And like where we started to find some signal is really in like a couple things, but one was kind of like exploring this reach thing through the lens of short form video. Is our short form video driving net new reach? One, and like, because we're all scrolling the feed, it's all, like we're in this feed, we're watching creators spitting short form video at us. Like if our videos are getting into the feed and driving more reach, then clearly our content is good, because we have to go up and compete against all these other what did I call it this morning? The open source creativity of all humanity. That is what you're up against. And so if your videos are driving reach, that means you're winning against the open source creativity entirety of humanity. So that's probably a good thing, whether it's selling the product or not.
That's such an interesting way to look at it. Like I think about all the time, like, yes, we are competing with every organic post on their feed, but we are also competing with the Netflix that's on their TV while they're scrolling. We're also competing against their kid trying to pull at their leg and ask them for dinner. Like we're competing with so much. And I think like capturing and then keeping that attention has never been harder. But I love your point of like, short form is the language of the internet. It would be in our brand's best interest to speak it and like almost figure out the monetization after the fact. Like we'll get there, but let's get really good at capturing eyeballs.
Well, and like, are they the right eyeballs too? The other one that we kind of realized was like last Father's Day, I went and looked at was my first exploration of demographic data for some reason, because you didn't need it before that. You just told it, and I was like, oh my Christ, we delivered so many ads in our Father's Day sales to dudes. And I was like,
wow.
I wonder why
it should be.
I wonder why we didn't do so well. And then, so then I started tracking this kind of demographic thing. And, again, it's like, at that point, you can kind of like now sit in the chair of your consumer and say, based on how the consumer, is perceiving my brand, am I in their feed when I need to be, right? With something that's actually interesting, that's not just like, you hear this on every single pod, but it's like, it's the offer. It's like, well, yeah, the reason the offer works is you can throw that in front of anyone at any point and they're going to somewhat respond if they're interested in it. Well, if you don't have offer as a lever, then you got to go think like a creator. You got to go think like an organic person. You got to speak this language. I mean, for us, this short form, this language of the internet, that's short form video. And like our biggest investment this year is in like organic creator partnerships that we just flip into ads. Briefing is minimal. It's kind of like, here's a vibe. Now go fit our product into your life and do whatever the heck you want.
The content is the offer. I have to keep telling people the content is the offer. The product is just around it. Like it's just in the background and always there.
Totally.
It's very like writing story. Like this is the reason why I'm getting so excited about it. Cause I'm like, I finally get to be a movie producer.
Totally.
Like my job is making movies now. I'm so excited.
I've started to think of buying on Meta, like buying on TV. Like you only have a vague understanding, so it's TV like,
now.
Okay, like just accept it and do the best you can with that. Right. And then, so you kind of then start digging into the demographic metrics of those short form vertical videos. And it's like, well, in the 4 weeks leading up to Mother's Day, how's our delivery looking? Oh, wow. We went from 40% male, 60% female to 70% male, 30% female. I think it's going to work out. Can we scale our budgets on that data point?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, you can. Let me tell you.
Yeah. We did that all the time at OG every Father's Day and Christmas up until last year. We would watch Meta automatically flip. Like as soon as we launched our creative for female gift buyers, it flipped from like 60-40 male to like 80-20 female. And I was like, it's going to work. It's going to happen. I know it's only November 4th and like sales haven't spiked yet, but like it's happening. I'm good. I wanted to ask you about your creator budget because, I'm shooting doubles these days. and it's a small brand. It's been a side hustle. I'm up to spending like 30 grand a month on ads, which is nothing compared to like what I usually spend on ads, but it's my credit card and ads manager right now.
Right, yeah.
But I was literally thinking today, sitting in a river out here, I was like, man, what if I paid creators 30 grand next month to make content for me? Wouldn't that be so much more impactful
Especially if they have a
for
good following, they have a good
for a
audience.
brand
Yeah.
right now? Like, I'm curious to hear, like, how are you deciding what percentage of budget gets spent on creators? What are the asks of them? Because I'm really thinking about like pulling my ad budget entirely and be like, let's go give a bunch of money to creators in my niche, collab post with them on everything, and see what that does for 60 days.
Yeah, that's the playbook that's working for us. Or I mean, obviously we're still spending a bunch on ads, but as far as like, if in 2024, 2025, it was like organic creator and kind of the traditional UGC creator, it was like this, it's probably now like this. It's like the opposite.
Yeah.
And the program is, you're doing a collab post for us, you're giving us whitelisting, right? And it's like, if that's not good enough for you, okay, great, we'll move on. Now, it's not cheap, but like
neither is any of our Facebook ad bills. You know what I mean? So like, what are we talking about?
Well, and but that's the beauty. It's like it's like you're going to do a collab post, and we have reams of data saying that these collab posts drive more organic engagement than us alone. Great, win. Then it's like mandatory whitelisting. Okay, we throw it into the creator, and like some of these are good ads, most of them aren't, but it's just good creative that can exist in the feed copacetically with everything else in the feed.
Because they're already doing it.
Yeah, and then like you watch the demographic data on these things, and it's like, whoa, look at that. We're talking to men who are 25 to 35. That's new. It's like, is that bad ahead of Mother's Day? That's a demo we never even spoke to. And I don't think this is like groundbreaking to anyone, but what's really interesting is then when you get a little bit of a sample size on this stuff, and now you start like cohorting ads based on those demos and then building the creative strategy from there. Because you start to, there's some pattern recognition that you start to see around, oh, interesting. This is what that demo likes. Like, this is what this demo likes, or what's getting served in their feeds, right? And I love thinking about the feed. Like, the feed is like, I mean, I don't, because it makes me sad at the state of the universe. But I just think that like,
but like, for profit, it's the end of humanity. But
right.
For profit, though.
Yeah.
God, I love it.
It's one of those things where the feed, taking the lens of your creative in this kind of feed mentality, just, it kind of gets you out of the like, well, marketing copy must sound like this. This is how I sell a thing. We have this amazing one recently, and I said, amazing piece of creative. We've been kind of iterating on this fly on the wall concept. I'm really inspired by this like video, imagine handheld, high, low production, doesn't matter, but it's like someone's there, but these other people are having a conversation, and it feels like you're the person kind of watching these two people interact. And we've tried a couple of times. My creative team kicked out this one that we got from a random seeded creator, very low cost. Iterated a couple of times in our edit, finally came back with something. I remember distinctly being like, I don't even care. That's an amazing, that's an amazing piece of content. Run it.
I love it when you could feel it. It's
I was like
in my bones,
because it was so different than anything we'd run. It was so like feed native, and I was like, punch it. The next day, it's like we tripled our click-through rate and dropped our CPC by 200%. And I was like, oh well, that's actually better. That's better than I even thought. But like, that's what like showing up in the feed as a as part of the feed versus a marketer in the feed, I think is what you can really unlock.
Yeah. Dude, I think this whole conversation brings me back to something that like I've been bad at in the past, where like I've been super frugal on anything that's not an ad dollar. Like I'll spend $1 billion on ads, but like a $7,000 thing I'll like hesitate on.
Yeah.
And I think it's like so short-sighted. And I don't know what it is about our like performance marketer brains that like just crumbles when we're asked to pay for anything besides a Facebook ad. But it's stuff like this where it's like, hey, can you spend $7 grand on creators? Can you spend 15 grand on, a great CRO program. Can you pay a relatively small amount of money to make the next 500 grand you spend on ads work a little bit better?
Yeah.
Like,
100%.
I think that is something that's not being talked about enough, especially in the current state of like, everyone thinks Meta's broken. Everyone thinks Meta can't reach new people. And like, I actually don't think any of us have a reach or a traffic problem at all when 98% of the people who come to our stores don't buy. It's like, well, hold on, let's do better at that. Like, let's do something off platform to make these ads work better for the next 100 people that are coming to your site. I think that's such like still an undervalued thing. And I'm excited to own a brand that's like a sandbox for me. Like, it's growing and profitable, but I don't have investors or anything, so I can do whatever the hell I want. And like, I think the future of e-com brands, like, I think we're going to need a new metric that's not MER, that's not ads as a percentage of revenue, but it's like all marketing spend as a percentage of revenue. Because I think we can drop, our ads as a percentage of revenue from 50 to 25 if we spend that extra 25 on all these other things that can increase ad performance.
100%. Give people a reason to want to come near you. We've talked about this so many times on this podcast. It's like none of these customers have any reason at all to want to be around us. They actually actively despise marketing. And it's everything about advertising, consumer say. So I want to dive deeper into like tactical stuff because Kevin, you sent me something that was really interesting. It was like ad archetypes, and one was a unicorn.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? What was this? Because I'm like, I gotta know.
Yeah. So this is kind of, again, all out of this. Like when we started looking at impressions and the breakdown of those impressions more than ROAS or MER. I mean, we obviously run the business off MER like everyone else, but like, I don't, other than like projecting it out and being like, is it a good, am I happy today or dad? I don't really pay attention to it. And I certainly don't look at it at an ad level. But when you start to break out your demo impressions, what the cost of those are impressions down to like the campaign and then the ad level, you can build these cohorts of ads that have some level of similarity, whether that's creative similarity, whether that's demographic similarity, or whether that's within their own campaign. So you build them into a cohort, you slap them into an analysis of against the axis of frequency and ROAS, and then obviously you scrape out anything that doesn't get any spend, but it's like, well, sick within this cohort, why did this one have above median ROAS and above median frequency? Why is this a unicorn? Okay, so you do that through a couple cohorts. Now you have a bunch of unicorns that you've got grouped, and now you're like, okay, what's going on here? And from that, we've had some like crazy breakthroughs. Like we had a situation, we have this smaller flask that's a one human product, right? Like replaces your pocket flask for lack of a better term. So it's like, it's for like you and your personal favorite whiskey. And okay, great.
I was just say Nate will love it.
That's my go-to. It's in
But
my truck right now.
We ran
not that I use it when I drive. That's not what I mean. I take it with me places, and then
I think I even have a smaller one that I got to send you. But like,
please.
That's amazing.
We did this, and the biggest insight was, turns out the best creative was when it was used in a communal atmosphere. So it was
100%,
like, and like, I mean, maybe that's obvious to other people, but we're like, your flask, your whiskey, you, like blah blah blah, and it's like, no, it's the foursome at golf. I mean, and we were doing this natively, but we didn't have a reason why, and we certainly didn't know what was winning. But once we kind of built these cohorts and then mapped them into, high ROAS, low frequency, meaning, and high spend, meaning getting great delivery at exceptional ROAS. That's our unicorns. Our scouts are like really great delivery. So a lot of reach, meaning really low frequency, but maybe ROAS is kind of middling. Harvesters is folks that are high ROAS, maybe higher frequency. Those are like kind of your conversions. And then the chaff, the rest are kind of like the passengers. They're just there.
I love the farming analogy through.
I was gonna say these are so good.
But like,
I'm gonna need you to type up this framework and tweet it, because this is like how people should be thinking about advertising.
It's so interesting.
Well, what's really cool with our friends AI, you can then start like, throw all this information into AI and then say, hey, go look at all the delivery data, and you can actually start to map like statistical probabilities of how the customer went through your ads, right?
Yes.
They saw a scout because that's the one. or they saw a unicorn, because those are the ones driving all your reach. And then they converted on your harvesters. And the mix we've found is you got to have a scout in your campaign. If you're lucky, you got a unicorn or two, but you got to have a scout. And then you got to have a bunch of different harvesters that talk to different people. It's that journey the customer takes. And so now we build, we try our best. It's not like easy to do, but to kind of like build that journey. But more importantly, we got to look at our scouts and say, is that a good way into the brand?
Yes.
If it's not, dump it. You got to like put a sensible box around your creative, right?
Oh, I love it.
And, I think this is just we talked about this last time, but this is the hypothesis I still mean. It's like individual creative is nothing without a great campaign around it.
Yeah.
And this is in any of the vertical video formats, but especially the feed ones. You're like, here's where it's really cool is like over in AppLovin land, it's a forced watch. And the things that perform best in forced watch land, well, that's probably going to be like up in your scout or unicorn territory in feed swipey land, right? And so that you can kind of learn from both, but or at least that's what we're trying to tease out slowly but surely and iterate on. But that's our goal. And what we tend to find is, like you're going to have a scout, it's going to spend a bunch. People always laugh about creative diversity. I've posted this a couple times over the past couple of years, but it's like, is my top spending ad getting 90% of my budget at a 1.1 frequency and above target ROAS creative diversity? Is that creative? It's like, like, I think so, like I'm pretty cool with that outcome. Even if 95% of my budget is going to this one ad, it's showing 1.5 times or 1 1/10 times and driving ROAS. Great. You know,
crazy.
Kevin, have I talked to you about my RPM metric?
No.
Revenue per 1,000 impressions.
No, but I like that.
Yeah. So we started tracking it years ago at OG, but today I think it's more valuable than ever. So we just build it as a custom column in Meta or TikTok or YouTube or wherever we're advertising. Revenue divided by CPMs, basically divided by 4,000 impressions. And what I love about that is it strips away every other variable and just tells me, hey, when 1,000 people watch this video, how much money do we make? And then my job becomes like, cool, how do I show this to the next 1,000 people as efficiently as possible?
Totally.
And I think this is kind of what you're talking about here.
I think so. Trust me, and I've bounced around like 100.
By the way, and
metrics.
This is why I love talking to you, because I think we think about this the same way and we climb up opposite sides of the mountain.
Yeah, totally.
But
no,
but dude, I love it because then it simplifies the job of media buying for me. It's like, hey, I know that this video is the most valuable one that I can show new people. Let's just figure out more ways to do that. Whether it's TikTok or YouTube or Facebook reach campaigns, like I just want to show that video to people because I have data that tells me per 1,000 views it makes
such a $87.
Dude, go build it right now. Go build it.
Oh yeah, I mean it's like tomorrow.
But yeah, dude, it's been a good one for us.
That's
this is a good way to do creative though too, because on the creative side, like I'm not in the metrics nearly as much as the media buyers are, but I still have to have signal of something because my job is just to be as creative as possible in perpetuity at like for most people at volume. Like I have to be able to create thousands of different ideas all the time, which I don't suggest you do.
Yeah, interestingly enough, we are scaling back our volume significantly now that we are
again. This is interesting.
First of all, so much of the budget is going to organic creators, which is way more expensive than your average UGC person, and certainly way more expensive than like the churn and burn editor out of the Philippines, right? And you know what? We're kind of cool with it. Like, you know, and
by the way, who wouldn't be?
Yeah.
Who wouldn't be happy with reduced workload and creative costs? You know?
But to your point, on the creative side, this impressions metric, like the metric is, can you get in the feed with short form vertical video?
Thank you.
Like that's it. And so whether it's revenue per 1,000, whether it's your demographic split of metric, it's like, if you aren't paying attention to that question, are you getting in the feed? Are you competing against the open source creativity of all humanity? Then what are we doing here? You know? And like our experience has been the more we focus on just a great impression, which now I'm so happy to have a monetized metric to track it.
RPM.
But like we're all the time, we're like, well, is this a great impression? Is this a cool impression? And like, is it a cool impression for the mindset of the consumer in Meta, the way they're looking at the feed, our target consumer, most importantly, our target consumer. And then more importantly, if we, we can think all we want about what we think, if this is a good impression or not to our target consumer, is it actually getting delivery there? Yes or no, right?
Yeah.
I think a lot of times we marketers tend to project their personal, I mean, you guys talk about this, but like we like to project our personal experiences on our customer.
Of course.
And like,
of course, I'm right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why wouldn't I?
I have taste. I have taste. It's like, no, your customer has taste.
Yeah.
And are you,
oh my God, yes.
are you participating? Are you participating in the feed that is the like algorithmic curation of their taste? Question mark. Doesn't matter what your taste is.
I think it was like last week sometime, but we were talking about the fact that like, are we in the ad business or are we in the money business? Which business are we in? Right?
That's a good question. In our organization 2 years ago, we split the function. We've since recombined it. And the more we recombine it, the better. First of all, like the ad side is going a little less insane because we get this amazing partnership content flow, but you can't make a sale if you're not in the feed, and organic virality is the most in the feed you can get. And now there is absolutely an art of blending in the commercialization component of that, but that looks way different than what it looked like several years ago. Like we grew up where it's like, let me write a marketing banger and then target the target. And that doesn't work anymore. Like that's not so it's like, let me create something that you generally want to participate in your feed. And there you go. I mean, at least I think, I don't know, like
that's great. 100%.
I feel like you got to couch everything in this world is like, I don't actually know. I'm just trying stuff.
Well, we all are, but Kevin, I love the way you try stuff. If you guys are not following Kevin on Twitter, give him a follow. It'll be linked below, and go get yourself a Highcamp flask. They're amazing. Kevin, thanks so much for coming on. I'm going to let you sign off with one actionable, tactical, practical action. What should someone do this week to help their best content reach new people?
We have a thing where you do 80% of what works and 20% of something completely net new. And I think that, you have to just make that church in a marketing organization today and do stuff that makes you uncomfortable, try things that you don't believe will work. And like, the more you do that, leave that 20%. And I kind of think that like the 80%, make sure the business stays where it is, and the 20% is where all the growth is. And I mean, that's just my like hope. I think that that is such an important exercise to do in a marketing organization is like give everyone the courage to take that 20% versus let's just scale the 80%. I don't think growth is scaling the 80%. I think the growth is where is like participating in that 20%.
Bars.
Look at that.
Is that it?
A podcast episode?
Do we do it?
I don't know. I don't
think we had an
intro. I was raging.
I don't think we had an intro or an outro to this episode, but thank you so much for listening to Brain Driven Brands. Kevin, thanks so much for coming back on, dude. We will have you on again anytime.
Always lovely. Thank you so much for joining us on the show today. Appreciate you guys listening. If you want to follow me, I'm at Sarah Levinger. Anywhere you consume content, he is at Nate Lagos. If you like this show and if you like this episode, go ahead and like, subscribe, share with a friend, drop us a review when you have a minute. We would appreciate it. Otherwise, have a great week. We'll see you next time.